Wonderhussy here, up in the beautiful Eastern Sierra near Mammoth Mountain, about to embark on an adventure I've been wanting to do for a long time. You know I love my hot springs. Well, there's supposedly this awesome hot spring up in the Eastern Sierra near Mammoth that, unfortunately, you have to backpack into because it's like a 12-mile hike, so it's kind of too much to do for a day hike. So a bunch of friends of mine invited me to come along on a backpacking trip and go check out these awesome hot springs. I think we're gonna break it into a 2-day trip. We're gonna do 8 miles today and then hike the rest of the way tomorrow. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of backpacking. I don't want to tell my friends. I'm with a group of 7 other people and they're all very avid backpackers. For me, the only point in backpacking is if you're going someplace super cool, like a hot spring. Unfortunately, there's a wildfire going on here. In fact, you can hear and maybe even see a helicopter up there dumping water on it. It's just a fact of life nowadays, I guess. But this fire here is supposedly only a couple acres. It was caused by lightning, and it is on the route we're going, but my friend said it's okay, we'll be fine, we'll just hike around it. Yikes. So I got this kind of bandana out, and my plan is to cover my face with it to sort of mitigate the amount of smoke I inhale. I want to save my lungs for more fun types of smoke. Okay, wow, we're getting closer to where this forest fire is. And one way I can tell is we came across what looks like the camp of the people who are fighting the fire. I mean, there's all these giant packs and bags that you would never hike out here with. And everything just sort of dropped willy-nilly all quick, like they had to just dump everything and then go fight that fire. Look over there, there's boxes of water, boxes of supplies. And you can see that they were lowered by helicopter because there's straps on them. Because you know how much water weighs. That's interesting. They just lowered all their stuff here, dropped their bags on the ground, and ran off to fight the fire. Oh, wow. Wow, that was intense. We just kind of hiked around the fire. The trail went really close to it, so close that, well, we could actually see this tree burning. And we met these firefighters that are working on it, these Forest Service firefighters. So cool, 2 guys and a girl. They let us pass through. In fact, they even escorted us through because of that one tree. This one tree that was burning at the base of the trunk. It was really interesting. I've never seen anything like that. And I guess they were just concerned that, well, eventually it's going to topple over and it might land on the trail. So we were safely escorted past that, and well, they just basically set us on our way, which is astoundingly laissez-faire for any sort of government agency. But hey, I'm not going to complain about it. I think it's almost been 8 miles, and we're just about to our campsite for the day, which is on this beautiful, I think it's called Fish Creek. Wow. Okay, we got to the place where we're camping for the night, and apparently my friends camped at the same place last year and were visited by 2 bears. Yikes, we're in bear country, so my other friend is going to put all my food in his dry bag and hoist it up in the trees where hopefully no bears can get to it. But man, I am beat tired after a long day of hiking, so I can't wait to get into my cozy tent and pass out. Good night. the next morning. Had a pretty good night's sleep, but now I'm headed down to the river to get some water to filter so that I can have my coffee and my breakfast. This is a really basic little water filter. It's basically a pouch that you dunk underwater, fill with river water, and then you screw this top onto it. Then you squeeze the pouch, squeeze the water back through the filter, and it's clean and good to drink. I say this a lot in my videos, but if this was smell-o-vision, oh, you guys, it's so fresh. I haven't done a lot of hiking way in the backcountry like this before. Usually the trails I go on are pretty mainstream, frankly, you know, Mount Whitney, Grand Canyon, stuff like that. So being on this, well, wilderness trail, it's a really neat experience. I haven't seen a single piece of litter, a single bullet hole, a single shotgun shell. I guess the type of person who's inclined to hike out here is pretty respectful. Yikes! Whew, okay, so we made it, I guess, to where the hot springs begin. It's kind of like a series of pools. Supposedly it's just across this creek on the other side of that rock. Alright, I think it's right here at the end of this little spur. Holy cow, look! Oh my gosh! Wow! Water is flowing down from a little source, a little spring up there in the rocks, coming down and filling this crystal clear pond. Oh my gosh. And it looks like people left some tools here for mucking it out, cleaning it. That's cool. Feels so good. It's probably like 103, 104. It's pretty hot. It feels amazing on my shoulders, which are a little sore from my backpack straps, my hip bones. Man, this backpacking trip is going to spoil me for all other backpacking trips, because I don't know very many backpacking trips that you can have a soak like this during the course of. Water is so clear and clean, and the bottom is sandy. You know, there's a little bit of algae type stuff floating in it, but hardly any, man. This is a very clean spring, I guess because it has a pretty good flow through. You know, that thing's going pretty good. And then it runs through down a little creek here. So it's constantly being flushed out. Ah! Fantastic little hot spring, and now I'm really curious and really excited to see what the rest of them look like. I mean, this whole friggin' meadow is apparently full of hot springs. Look at this one. Nice little soak. Just sort of hidden right below the trail, goes right up there above it. I'll have to come check this one out maybe later tonight, or oh my god, can you imagine what the stars are gonna look like up here? I mean, we are so far from any light pollution. Okay, well, unfortunately, I forgot to weigh my pack before setting out, so I'm not sure exactly how much weight I'm carrying, and I don't even know how much the pack itself weighs. It's much lighter than my backpack. I'm borrowing my sister's. It's an Osprey Kite 45 liter, it looks like. Actually, I don't know. Maybe that just says Kite 46 or 4G. Whatever the case, that's the pack I'm using. I think it's around 40 liters. Anyway, here's all the gear that I had stuffed in that backpack. Okay, obviously, first I had my sleeping bag in there and my sleeping pad, one of those self-inflating type sleeping pads. It's all right. It's pretty comfortable. Then my flip-flops for walking around camp. my sunblock. There's my earplugs, my sleeping mask, sleeping medicine, an extra battery for my cell phone so I can use it to record this video, some toilet tissue. These are actually vitamins. I just put them in a little baggie that used to contain marijuana from a dispensary. Stridex pads for my face because I tend to break out. I have oily skin. A&D ointment for my eyes. I get dry eyelids. Soap so I don't stink. Lotion for my face so I don't get a sunburn. Some little wet wipes to keep my lady bits fresh. Hairbrush because I get pretty gnarly hair if I don't brush it for a few days. Toothbrush, toothpaste, socks, extra chonies, an extra pair of shorts, extra shirt, a little scarf, which came in handy walking through the forest fire. A couple pairs of long pants because it does get chilly at night up here. Now we come to my food that I've packed, and I'm trying to be minimalist here so it's not like gourmet stuff. I went to Walmart. It was kind of a last minute trip, so I had to rely on whatever dehydrated mountain house meals they had at Walmart. So I went with beef stew, breakfast hash, lasagna, some trail mix bars, power bars type stuff, some beef jerky, nuts, salty corn, instant Starbucks, hot cocoa for at night, a marijuana edible cookie to help me sleep, and my spork. That's my little Primus camp stove with a fuel canister and a pot to boil water, my headlamp, my mug for coffee or cocoa, a platypus, which is a collapsible water bottle that you fill with drinking water after you filter it. And then I have a bug net here for no-see-ums to wear over my hat at night so I don't get eaten alive by mosquitoes. And then everything is laying on top of my tent. Oh, and then you probably noticed this one proportionately huge, colorful item that I have laid out here. Every backpacker has to bring a luxury item, and my luxury item was my fuzzy bathrobe, because if I'm going to a hot spring, there's no way I want to get out cold and wet and miserable in the middle of the night. I want to have a nice, fluffy, warm robe to wrap around myself. And it actually serves 3 duties. It's not just a bathrobe, it's also a towel to dry off with, and I wad it up at night, and it's my pillow to sleep on. Yeah, just roll it up in a bundle, tuck it into the hood, and now it's a pillow. Hi-oh! Okay, there's all our food hung up on a branch so that bears can't get it. I guess the key to finding a good place to hang your food is you want it to be out on a branch far enough away from the trunk where a bear can't really climb out to it. And it's pretty high up off the ground, so a bear even standing on its hind legs can't reach it. Okay, here's our base camp at the actual hot springs. We're just right up the path from them. There's my tent. Here's all my friends' tents. Everyone's sleeping in their own little setup. That's a tent there. There's a tent there. Then these guys here are just sleeping under a mosquito net. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Look right up at the stars that way, as long as it doesn't rain. And then behind me here, we got a guy in a hammock, which looks pretty nice. I actually considered bringing a hammock myself because I knew there was going to be a bunch of trees, but I also knew there was going to be a bunch of mosquitoes, and my hammock doesn't have a net for the cover, so I decided to go with the tent. Oh, and by the way, you might notice that my shoulders are bare. Well, that's right. I'm about to go for another soak. I guess that first hot spring I went in is pretty much the best hot spring down here. There's a couple other ones in the area. That little secret one, the second one that I shot, and then there's another one that's way, way, way up towards the top of the peak back there, and we're gonna hike to that one tomorrow. It's supposed to be really nice. So today we're just gonna go soak in that first little one with the waterfall. Okay, so that's our campsite, and you can see that it's not far to that little hot spring I was soaking at. I'm not sure you can see all my friends in the distance there, but they're all naked and so am I, so I won't be able to shoot any footage of us soaking. But you saw it earlier. You get the idea. Whew, had a nice soak. We're all jammed in there. There was like 8 of us in that pool. It was kind of cozy, but you really can't beat the view. In fact, over the ridge, just there behind me, there's an amazing view of the whole friggin' valley that we hiked up. And apparently it's a really good place to watch sunset. So that's the plan. At sunset, I think we're all gonna go up there. There's a big flat rock you can sit on and watch the most amazing sunset over this incredible valley. All right, it's dinner time, and unfortunately, my options are limited. Tonight I'm gonna try this Mountain House dehydrated beef stew. I've never actually had this flavor before. I am familiar with the Mountain House line of products, and You know, some of their stuff's pretty good. Their lasagna's not bad. Their beef chili mac, their breakfast hash. Freeze-dried beef stew, I don't know, might be a bridge too far, but beggars can't be choosers. It's what I have, and I'm hungry. So let's find out. If you've never had one of these dehydrated meals before, you just tear open the top and then pour boiling water in, and it reconstitutes. Well, in this case, looks like there's going to be croutons, carrots, peas, and beef crumbles. Oh, you know what? Those aren't croutons. Those are probably dehydrated potatoes. There we go. Let's see. Add boiling water. Stir it up. And let her sit for about 15 minutes. Okay, it's time for the big reveal. How is this beef stew? Oh, it looks about like what you would expect freeze-dried beef stew to look, eh? I don't know. I feel like it's probably not that bad. Let's taste it. We get a nice beefy bite. It tastes like one of those little frozen pot pies, but without the crust. I've had worse. Okay, wow. I climbed up on that rock to look at the beautiful sunset and have a mug of hot cocoa. Good morning. It's day 3 of my backpacking trip. So the plan for today is, apparently there's another even better hot spring way up the mountain behind me. So we're gonna hike up to that. Today's breakfast, also brought to you by Mountain House, breakfast hash. I mean, out of all the Mountain House meals I've had, this one I thought was the best. You can actually see there's real bits of potato strips and corn and black beans and tomatoes. Yum! Hiking up this super steep ravine to get to these other hot springs up top. Now supposedly the one at the very top is the coolest. It's called the King's Tub, and I'm guessing it's aptly named. But I think there's a couple other springs we're gonna come to on the way to the King's Tub. Okay, wow, we got to this first series of 3 pools, and it's pretty spectacular. Hot Creek comes out and fills this little guy here, which is very clear, sandy bottom, and whoa, pretty warm actually. I'd guess around 100, 101. And then that flows down into a second pool here. Not quite as clear, there's a little algae going on down there. Algae, what algae? This one's even cooler, which I guess stands to reason because it's flowing downhill from this one. And then there's another seep that comes out. Oh, I guess this is also coming out of the upper pool, but this one is just sort of flowing right down the side of the mountain where you can see all these minerals have sort of calcified. It reminds me of like travertine. Oh, that's kind of like squishy though. It's not necessarily all minerals, it's algae and minerals, I guess. Anyways, that eventually runs down to this really small third pool here. And now this one looks pretty nasty. I don't know if I'd want to soak in that. Look at that. That's more algae than water. But, you know, as the Jane Goodall of hot springs, I feel it's my duty to at least put my foot in. So I'll take one for the team and tell you guys. Oh, wow, but look how squishy it is. Ugh, I can't even step in it. It's so gooey. Oh my gosh. Let me get my shadow out of the shot so you can really see. Blech. Look at that. Oh, wow. It's kind of like, it would probably be an awesome mud pack. It reminds me of the mud bottom at Tacopa. This one's very muddy bottom. Oh my god. Look how squishy this is. Oh, I can't even stand in it. Ugh. Okay, that one was even too gross for me. And it wasn't hot besides. It was room temperature, so.
The crab cooker is over
all this
here.
Discussion about where exactly this final hot spring is. It's somewhere up on that hill. You can see water running down up there. So there's definitely something. Okay, wow, we are way up here now, and we cannot find this friggin' mythical King's Tub. My friends are all spread out over the landscape. Everyone's looking. A couple of us have actually been here before, a couple of the people in my group, and even they can't remember exactly where this is. Apparently this is one of them top secret soaks. My favorite kind. Okay, looking around for this hot spring. We didn't find anything yet, but we did find bear scat. My friend said that is bear scat. I don't know poop well enough, but I do know one thing. There's flies on it and it's pretty fresh. So that means there's a bear not too far from here. Oh, it's pretty dry, but oh man, not every day I get to play with bear poop. Bear poop selfie. You're on the trail? Okay, I think we finally found it. My friends are yelling and waving from that dark spot in the trees there. But the irony is, we went all the way up there, all the way almost to the top, looking everywhere for this dang hot spring. And we somehow passed it by. It was right down there all along. Oh my God, I'm gonna enjoy this hot spring soak more than I've ever enjoyed a hot spring soak in my life. We really worked for this. Okay, check this out. This is the king tub and it is friggin' amazing. Down this little trail, see this little hot creek. It comes flowing down the mountain. It flows in under this old piece of an old fallen tree. And it fills up this awesome little tub that's looking out at this amazing view. Ah! Have you ever seen a hot spring like this before? Wow, this is amazing. And the best part of it is, I couldn't tell you how to get to this hot spring even if I wanted to, because we hiked around in circles for so long. This thing is hidden. You really have to earn a soak in this king tub, I guess. Oh, and we have earned it. I gotta start my hike down soon. My friend, a couple of friends and I decided to hike out part way tonight, back to the place we camped on the way up. So we're looking at a 4-mile hike there, and then we'll sleep one more night in the forest and then hike the rest of the way out tomorrow morning. So I don't have long to enjoy this. Better make the most of it. Alright, gotta hike back down and leave this beautiful hot spring, but hopefully I'll be back. In fact, I'd love to come up here sometime in the winter. Like if there was a way to snowshoe in and soak in that friggin' pool, looking down that valley all covered in snow. Oh, someday. Like all good things, our time at this beautiful hot spring has come to an end. 2 of my friends and I are hiking back out. We're gonna make camp tonight, halfway, partway, and then bang out the rest in the morning. Alright, it's 8:30 in the morning and we're setting off. Pretty much the whole rest of the day, 8 miles, is uphill. Woo! But the good news is there's food and showers waiting up at the top. So if that's not a motivator, I don't know what is. I think we're like, are we halfway back? Oh, we're gonna find out. I think we're almost halfway back. And what's cool is we passed by where that forest fire was, and it looks like they had it totally put out. We still saw some of the fire crew over there. They're just keeping an eye on it. But it looks to me like they got it totally out, because that's where it was. And you don't see any smoke hanging over this valley anymore. So good job, guys. Look, a rattlesnake on the trail. That thing is rattling. Damn, you just blocked my shot, Carlo. No, I didn't get it.
It sounds like a sprinkler.
Can you hear that? That's what a rattlesnake sounds like. Holy cow, that thing was right on the trail. Yikes. Good thing my friend was hiking ahead of me. I mean, he was on the lookout. Woohoo! We finally made it back to where we first saw that sign warning us not to go down that trail because of the fire. But hey, wasn't an issue for us, and if anything, it probably kept other hikers away, which is why we had those hot springs all to ourselves. But now that I'm back here at this junction, there is a side trail you can take to something called Rainbow Falls. How am I gonna turn something down called Rainbow Falls? It sounds so beautiful. It means another mile of hiking added onto my trip, but I feel like I should do it anyways. I can at least unload my pack and leave it here on the side. I don't think anybody will mess with it. Wow, that was definitely worth hiking an extra mile for. Woohoo! Ah, finally made it back up to where I left my car. Okay, now for the best part of the whole hike. Taking off my friggin' boots and putting on my flip-flops. Okay, next order of business, shower. Whew, so much better. All right, I got fresh, clean hair, fresh, clean clothes, fresh, clean body, and now there's only one more thing to do. Get a burger. Salt.
You can't beat it.
Oh yeah. I'm clean, I'm full, and now there's only one thing left to do. The best way to celebrate a punishing hike to a hot spring is by soaking in another hot spring.